Sooner or later, everybody gets to a point where they're thinking about integrating a sidearm into their rig. And you really need to be smart if you're considering that, because obviously in airsoft there's a lot of choices that are out there, and not all of them are good ones. I know a lot of guys try to make decisions about what gun to buy based on things that they've seen either in video games or movies and TV, and you really can't use that as the basis for why you choose a particular gun. I know I like certain designs over other ones, but there are some of them that are real dead ends. One thing that comes to mind is the Glock model of handguns. There's a big problem with those these days in that the actual manufacturer of the Glock pistols is suing a lot of the companies that are either importing them or selling them because they just don't like these copies of their guns being out on the market. So the problem for you, if you decide to get one, is you may not be able to get replacement parts for the gun, or extra magazines or anything like that in the future, and what you end up with is a very expensive paperweight, which kind of sucks when you end up spending $200 on a gun. So the gun that we're going to be talking about today, I think eliminates that problem in that, number one, it's compatible with a lot of other guns that are out on the market, so you can get additional parts for it, and it's just an overall very popular gun. So there are a lot of companies that make either replacement parts or aftermarket parts for it, so you can always get what you want to either fix or upgrade the gun. And that gun is the G194. Now the G194 is an all-metal CO2 gas blowback gun. I particularly like the fact that it's a CO2 gun in that CO2 generally gives you better overall performance than the gas guns. The problem with the gas guns is that they operate at a lower pressure, so if you're working in lower temperatures, you're going to find the performance of your gun to be somewhat lacking. CO2, since it's at a higher pressure, tends to work a little better in lower temperatures. The G194 is a replica of a highly customized M1911. One of the nice features of the fact that it is highly customized is you don't have to spend a lot of money getting aftermarket parts to get a lot of these features. First of all, on the main frame of the gun, it features a flat back strap with a checkered panel on the rear of it and a Picatinny rail on the lower part of the frame. This is a nice feature if you're planning on adding additional accessories like flashlights or lasers. I personally don't like to put those things on there because it makes it hard to holster the gun. Now, if you're going to be using this as a sidearm, you're probably going to want to leave those accessories off. If you're going to use this gun as a primary gun, you may want to consider putting accessories on it. One thing you're really going to like about this gun is the custom features that are built into the slide. First of all, it has knurling on the front as well as the rear of the slide, which make it real easy to grab for racking the slide and getting the gun into action. The other thing that you're going to notice is that it features high-rise Novak style front and rear sights. Normally a 1911 just comes with a plain old front blade and a rear notch. These are high-rise combat style sights that would normally be a custom feature on most guns. One nice feature a lot of you lefties will appreciate is the fact that this has ambidextrous thumb safeties on both sides of the gun. So whether you're left-handed or right-handed, you'll have a real easy time with operating the safety on this gun. A couple of other nice custom features that are built into this gun are the skeletonized hammer as well as the custom trigger mechanism that's on this gun. On most standard 1911s, it just has a plain hammer with a regular flat trigger on it. This has extra knurling on the trigger surface as well as a skeletonized trigger mechanism and a skeletonized hammer, which really don't serve a lot in the airsoft world, but they look really cool, and if you wanted to upgrade the gun, you would have to spend extra money for these features. Another nice feature of the G194 is that it has the lanyard built into the bottom of the grip, which makes it very easy for adding an external lanyard to the gun, which is a really good idea because if you ever lose your grip on the gun or it falls out of your holster, you're not going to completely lose your sidearm. On a lot of guns, you have to spend extra money on adding a lanyard loop. On this particular one, it adds a nice high-profile lanyard that you could hook on just about any aftermarket device onto this. The magazine for the gun is a single stack design, meaning that it is a narrower magazine than the high capacity gun. It can get a little confusing because both of these are actually high capacity magazines in that the BBs are staggered as they go up the magazine. So you can see the configuration of them. They're alternating left, right, left, right, left, right. And it's important when you load the magazine that you do it in this fashion. So if you accidentally get two on the left or two on the right, it can cause the magazine to either malfunction or just misfeed. So make sure you alternate the BBs left, right as they go up the magazine. That way it will feed much more consistently. Now, because this is a gas blowback gun, it's necessary to occasionally field strip this gun in order to keep it properly lubricated, which is pretty much one of my only real complaints about this particular gun, is that they usually come from the factory pretty much dry. So it's necessary when you first receive this gun to give it a thorough oiling. In order to do that, it's necessary to, number one, remove the magazine from the gun. Number two, you take the slide and move it until the slide catch lines up with the notch at the rear of it. Then you just simply remove the slide catch, which allows you to remove the slide off of the gun. To properly lubricate the gun, the main thing you need to be concerned with is the inner piston that you can see in the rear of the gun. What I like to do is to pull the piston forward a little bit and squirt a little bit of oil into these recesses inside of it. It's important that you use the proper oil. You need to use a silicone-based oil. I personally recommend using stuff that's designed specifically for airsoft, because there's a lot of stuff that's out there that the propellants will actually melt the plastic parts inside of the gun. So make sure you buy a plastic safe silicone oil. We sell stuff made by ICS that works very well. We also sell another brand that's made by UTG and Firepower. These are very good for oiling the gun, and they will not damage it. And it's absolutely necessary to keep these parts of the gun oiled in order for the gun to operate properly. If you start firing the gun and it starts acting sluggish, where it's just not returning back into battery quickly, these are usually problems that are based on the gun not being oiled properly. So make sure you get in there occasionally and oil these parts up. It's also nice to oil the rails of the slide and make sure that they stay properly oiled in order to keep the gun from binding. Reassembling the gun is pretty simple. All you do is return the slide back onto the rails of the gun, push it back into its rearward position so that the slide catch is lined up with the rear notch, and then you just simply press the slide catch back into place and you're all done. One of the really nice things about the 1911 design is that there is a lot of aftermarket as well as accessories that are designed for these guns. So if you're looking at getting a holster or different grips or different sights or any other kind of custom accessories for it, there's a ton of stuff that's out there on the market that's readily available, and you can pretty much be sure that this gun is going to work with just about all of them. So that's the basics on the G194, and this is pretty much a gun that I've been using personally as a sidearm. In fact, I've been playing lately with just a sidearm because I myself like a little bit of a challenge when I'm out there playing airsoft, and there's nothing more rewarding than going out on the field and beating a bunch of guys with Polar Stars and high-cap magazines with just a sidearm. So you may want to try that if you want to try a new twist to playing the games. If you want to find out more about the gun, feel free to go to our website. They're available at replayairsoft.com, or come on into the showroom here. We've got the range right in the back of the store, so you can take it out and try it for yourself. So until then, don't let the bastards get you down.